The Indianapolis Colts 2025, no buts about it, draft grades are here coming up next. What's up, everyone? We're continuing our series of 2025 NFL draft grades. And the next team we are going to do is the Indianapolis Colts. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. Their first overall pick 14 in round one, was none other than Tyler Warren out of Penn State. Now, Tyler Warren fills a long term need where the Colts have been hurting for depth at the tight end position. This pick was pretty obvious. A lot of people thought that Warren was going to be the first tight end off of the board, and they thought that he would be going to the Indianapolis Colts. Now, that would have left the Colts with the decision, do they go with Colston Loveland or Tyler Warren? However, the Chicago Bears kind of surprised all the draft experts by taking Colston Loveland at pick 10. So that made it easy for the Indianapolis Colts. They were left with Tyler Warren. Well, he's a large, above average athlete, and he showed leadership, capabilities while at Penn State. This very young offense, still being led by a young quarterback in Anthony Richardson, needs someone to help define it. He's not a super versatile route runner. He doesn't really go deep that often. He tends to just stay in the flat, stay about 3 yards out, but he makes the most of when he gets the ball. And he just, helps kind of have a big body out there. He catches those hard to catch balls. His blocking could use some work. However, they still have Drew Ogletree and Mo Alley Cox, who are decent blockers. If you want to go to 12 personnel with the Indianapolis Colts, and that will allow the Colts to kind of leave Tyler Warren open as a receiving tight end. So that's why I left Tyler Warren with a grade A. He's not a perfect athlete, but he's very elite. There's very few guys who you are going to take there that were going to be better than him. So I gave them an A for that. Next up, guy whose name I'm going to have to learn to say, JT Tuimolu. And I will continue to work on that. I apologize. But round two, pick 45 out of Ohio State. JT, who the T actually stands for Tuimolu. Lolu. So, like I said, I got to work on it. So, the JT is actually just his initials, and then they added a second Tuimolu. Oh, and I will JTT is what they call him for a reason. Anyway, Lou Anarumo, Bengals' old defensive coordinator. I'm familiar with him. He doesn't really have like a base scheme that he sticks to. He changes it based on who the opponent is that week. And if it is an opponent where a 4-3 defense base is going to be effective against them, that is where JTT is going to thrive. He can help get to the quarterback quickly. He may not be the quickest. He may not be the first to the quarterback, but I think he can help provide cleanup. And when that first guy is pushing him one way, JTT can come from the back and clean up, get that sack. JTT is actually very similar to Kwity Paye, which means this pick is kind of interesting. Their athletic profile and size are almost the exact same. Same height, similar weights, same combine numbers, very, very similar. Paye is entering his contract year on a 5th-year option. And so while JTT could just be a depth option for this season, this could also be a sign that Kwity Paye will be a free agent next season. But they wanted someone like him, so they went younger at the position. And the Colts have now invested prime draft picks in their pass rush with Leatu Latu in the first round last year and then taking JTT in the second round this year. So they will be looking for a return on that. But I like the pick, even if it's just a depth piece this year. JTT gets a grade A. Now, here's where the Colts kind of lost me a little bit. Let's move on to round 3. Justin Wally, round 3, 80 out of Minnesota. So Wally, he's an experienced outside CB. That's what he played in college. Due to his size, he's kind of smaller. He's probably going to be better as a slot guy in the NFL, which makes this pick even more interesting because the the Colts have one of the best slot CBs in the NFL in Kenny Moore. So taking a guy who's likely going to have to move into the slot in the NFL is kind of an interesting move. However, he would have some time to bulk up in the gym. He's only 22 years old and he could maybe be a contender for some special team snaps. I just am not super sure on why they made this reach in round three. Outside is where they are much more desperate. Jalen Jones was inconsistent. Juju Brents has had issues. They've got some they health issues with both of them. So I just think outside is more of a need, and they took a guy who's got experience at the outside, but is likely going to have to move inside when there were guys available who would be very good on the outside. Noel Williams, for example, he's a pure outside guy, but he just would have been a better pick. The Colts need an outside guy, and Noel Williams is experienced there. Wally can be that guy, but he's going to need some time to bulk up, and he needs his tackling to be refined. He doesn't really wrap around people. That's a problem with even bigger guys in the NFL. So that's why he gets a B minus in round three. Hopefully, he can bulk up, be kind of a secret little weapon for the Colts. But I don't really like this pick here with guys like Noel Williams still on the board. Next up, Jalen Travis out of Iowa State, round four, pick 127. This is another guy, Braden Smith. He's in his contract year following seasons that have been very up and down. Braden Smith will have a down season and then usually rebounds up. He last year was a down, in my opinion. He's been above average every season. He just kind of does this. But he's in that contract year. So however he does this year may determine kind of where the Colts go with that. And then maybe Jalen Travis is seen as a future starter by the Colts. If the Colts do hope for Travis to be his replacement, they need to teach Travis more technique. Right now, he focuses more on his size. He's a really big guy, and just his ability to be able to shove defenders to the ground. As a swing tackle, which he did a lot in college, there's a lot of film of him doing that. He tends to just like run into guys and hope they fall down, which he's pretty effective at. So I can't really blame him there. But I don't think that will work in the NFL as much. His feet sometimes seem some his feet seem to sometimes say that seven times fast seem to lose their anchor. They kind of flail underneath him a little bit or get lost. But I think that with some technique building, he could be a very good swing tackle. He's be a high end backup at the very least with starter potential. He has the size of being a good OT, but the lack of ability to get low and relying solely on his strength will get him beat in the NFL against experienced pass rush. So again, if he works on that technique, if he builds it up, he's going to be great. He could be a steal for the Colts. But right now, where he stands, he's not. So grade B has potential, but he's going to need to do some work, and that's why he fell to round four as well. Round five. Here's where we pick it up a little bit. I like this pick. We got DJ Giddens out of Kansas State. He's a round five pick 151. I really like this pick, if you can tell by the grade. Jonathan Taylor has been a huge contributor to the Colts. He's been arguably the face of the Colts for the last few seasons. And RB2s have come and gone with little effect. Like, they've had a ton. Zach Moss, Evan Hull, Trey Sermon. You get the picture. DJ Giddens is going to look to break that mold. He will be competing with Khalil Herbert, who the Bengals traded for last season from the Bears and then let go in free agency. So Khalil Herbert is now on the Indianapolis Colts, fighting for a long-term running back two position. Giddens has reached 1,000 plus yards rushing the last two seasons, and he's had over 5 yards per carry both of those seasons. So he's making a ton of yardage. He's not just getting a ton of carries and reaching 1,000. He is getting the ball and effectively moving with it. He's also showed potential as a receiver. He is taller running back. I think he's like 6'1", so very tall for a running back in my opinion. Um, that could help them. Adds another receiving weapon, like we talked about with Tyler Warren. The more weapons we have for Anthony Richardson, the more it will help him. I just wish that considering his size, he's a bigger guy. I wish he would be more physical. He's patient and he allows gaps to form, but sometimes he doesn't shoot them as hard as he should, or he goes down at first contact. This is a really deep running back class, and because of that, I think we're going to see a lot of guys out of this class from picks like from rounds 4 through 7 who might actually be huge contributors to their team. Dylan Sampson with the Browns is an example. Taj Brooks with the Bengals is an example of these deeper round picks that we may see being contributors. And I think DJ Giddens could be a part of that as well. So if he can get that fire in his belly, if he can get more aggressive, he's going to be a very, very good pick for the Indianapolis Colts. And him and JT28 could be a dangerous duo. So he gets a B plus. This pick has a ton of potential. I really like it. Moving on to round 6, we got Riley Leonard, and I really like Riley Leonard as a person. Every interview I've seen of him, he's been awesome. However, this pick just makes no sense to me. He just doesn't seem like an NFL quarterback to me, and I know the Colts are kind of flailing in the quarterback room, but he's just very athletic. Like that's his thing. He tends to stick to his first couple reads, and then he immediately turns to his run game. That's his style. That's where he thrived in college was the run game. He can fit the ball into some short intermediate windows, but those windows are tighter at the NFL level. He has an arm, but it's not super amazing, in my opinion. If he can get more consistent in the passing game, if he can really, just buckle down, somehow like figure it out in the passing game, he could be a threat because of that running ability. But right now, he just doesn't move the quarterback room needle for me in a room that has a lot of question marks with Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. They also have Jason Bean still. So maybe Riley Leonard can be helpful on the practice field to help defenses practice for more mobile quarterbacks. But I feel like this could have been a different player, different pick who could have had more of an impact on the team. So that's why I gave Riley Leonard a C. Just again, I'm not a fan of this pick. Round 6, I know you're kind of scratching the bottom of the barrel, but there's better picks. Very next pick, round 6, pick 190. The Colts took Tim Smith from Alabama. I gave him a B, and I gave him a B because I think this is a good depth, and that's kind of what we're looking for in these rounds. He's a versatile defensive tackle. He's played all over the line. He's played pretty much every single position on the line except for maybe edge. I didn't see a ton of edge, but I saw like a ton of 4I, 3T, 0I. He's just been all over. Smith may not offer much as a starter, but he's a reliable back, like I said. He's going to be disruptive in the pocket at times. He lacks balance, though. With Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner both aging, I believe they're both over the age of 30. The Colts need to start considering depth at this position. They need to start considering replacements at this position. Smith is not the long-term solution for the Colts at this position, though. However, he can be a stopgap player if called upon, and I think he would be good for 1 or 2 games. He's not going to be the reason you lose a game on the defensive line. But he's also not going to be a franchise defensive line that you're putting up on the banners, would be my guess. We'll see what happens. Maybe he just, blossoms into a beautiful butterfly or something. Finally, Hunter Waller. He is marked as a linebacker slash safety, and he played safety for Wisconsin. He was very consistent tackler. He was better at the run defense and struggled at times covering the deep field. Because of that, there's a lot of reports saying that the Colts are going to move him from safety to linebacker. Makes sense. They need to replace EJ Speed, who they lost in free agency, and Waller can consistently come into the run game and help make tackles, especially from that linebacker position. I'm not sure, though, if he will be starter level due to the lack of speed, especially in pursuit. So he needs to really catch that guy early on and get him down. If the guy runs past him, I'm not sure that he's going to be able to catch up to him. So I gave that a B- grade. Overall, not an awful draft. Colts saw their needs and they took them where they could, where they felt comfortable. And so because of that, I give them a B, B plus. Didn't really have any picks below B besides Waller and Leonard and Wally, but they got those two A's in JTT and Tyler Warren. B pluses and DJ Giddens. So I think B, B plus is a fair grade. Very good picks for the Indianapolis Colts. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and let me know, Indianapolis Colts fans, what player are you most excited to see play their rookie season?